England with during the war. I watched a TV special called Battle of the Atlantic, said in 1 month, German U-boats in 1942 sank 150 American ships bringing supplies to England. I don't know about you, but I always thought those U-boats were only in Europe. And to find out they're all the way from New York all the way to Rio de Janeiro. They'd sit wolf packs in the middle of the ocean waiting for those ships to go by.
Wow.
Now the men ate twice a day. Breakfast was from 6:30 in the morning till 11. Dinner was from 3:30 until 7. They were allowed 45 minutes to get in line, eat, and get out of the mess halls. And they were also told to bring their mess kits so they could put sandwiches and fruit there. When they were standing on the upper decks, they had things to munch on. If you read your food provisions for a 6-day crossing, you'll find it is quite amazing. They brought aboard the Queen Mary 124,000 pounds of potatoes, 53,000 pounds of butter, eggs, and milk powder, 31,000 pounds of coffee, tea, sugar, 29,000 pounds of fresh fruit, 31,000 pounds of canned fruit, 18,000 pounds of jams and jellies, 155,000 pounds of meat and poultry, 21,000 pounds of bacon and ham, 76,000 pounds of flour and cereal, and 4,600 pounds of cheese. They also had 9 canteens aboard for the troops where they could buy over 40,000 bottles of soft drinks, 5,000 cartons of cigarettes, and 400 pounds of candy, as well as sundry items like razor blades, shaving cream, toothpaste, toothbrushes, but no shampoo. You couldn't bathe or shower on the ship. There was no time or water.
Wow.
They did pump aboard 6,500 tons of fresh water for the troops, but they were rationed water. For a 5-day crossing, they were given a half a gallon for all 5 days. People always moan when I tell them that. It was war. What do you do in a war on a ship?
Yeah.
Some things will never change.
Stay
Drink
alive.
coffee, smoke cigarettes, play poker.
And stay alive.
That's another one. I had a man on my tour said, Greg, you're right about that. I was on the ship in 1943, and I'll tell you, I hardly ate at all. I said, well, what were you doing, sir? He said, I'll tell you what I was doing. I was at the very back of the ship in the blue area. In the bottom of that pool, playing craps, winning a lot of money. I said, well, thanks for telling me that story. That means you survived the war. It's sure welcome to have you here. You must remember most of these guys are now in their late 80s, early 90s. We don't have many of them around, so whenever they come aboard, I ask them, give me a story. I must also tell you that most of the stories they tell me are very blue, and I don't mean they're sad. Should I tell you this story? Can I clean it up or tell you how like you told it to me?
Like you told it to you.
All right, don't write me letters. Comes right up here and he goes, oh, I'll give you a story, Greg. I was like, okay. He said, I was on the ship in 1942, sick to death of being stuck inside with all those men like sardines in a can. You couldn't move, you couldn't breathe, I couldn't stand it. Come out here, it didn't matter, the same thing. They were everywhere. I had to get away just a while, just to kind of get my head together, be alone. He said he snuck up as high as he could on the ship. Got over here by the second funnel. He said, oh, it's a beautiful day. Nobody was up there. The water was like glass. He said, I found a nice little shady spot behind that funnel there, and I laid down and fell fast asleep. He said about 45 minutes later, I was wakened by the bullhorn drill going off. It scared me so badly, I shit my pants. He said, well, thanks for that story, sir. I can tell that to a few people if I clean it up, which I usually do. And then he said, well, how do I get up there? I want to see where the deed was done. I said, there's a staircase they built since she's been here. I said, you can go right up there, but I think they've cleaned it up since then. Let's go this way. 56 different wood veneers were used in construction of Queen Mary's deck. You see this in England back then, 56 colonies. They took the best woods from everyone, put them on these pillars and bulkheads. I found a book written in 1938 said they would put on these pillars and bulkheads like you'd slice caviar in a cracker. It tells you they're beautiful, exquisite woods. The first one, of course, dealt with the smoking of cigarettes on deck after dark. When you see the glow from an ash, you can actually get where ship's location quite a distance. And the second one dealt with the preservation of the wood veneers and in the artwork left behind. The main message to the troops from every captain ever sailed above was, don't touch those woods. They'd actually put him in the brig on bread and water rations. If they got the one person responsible, they'd find him. If they'd find one person, well, they'd find the entire unit. I love the sailors when they have these big rooms. People back, they did something we don't do much today. They obeyed orders. Except for the 3 times Sir Winston Churchill was aboard the ship. That was his office. There's his picture on the bulkhead in there, sitting at his desk. He came aboard the Queen Mary as Colonel Warden, or 239, on party under great security. He and his commandos had staterooms on M deck. His personal suite was M119, which is part of the hotel suites today. In that very suite, they say the plans for the invasion of Normandy were finalized. Come on down here, you can see an amazing photograph taken July 1943 showing you the 16,000 men on the Queen Mary heading over for Europe. They were gearing up for the invasion of Normandy. There you go.
That's a lot of people. Jeez.
Remember the sun deck we were on? You don't even see it.
God, look at that.
Those are the men that were outside at that particular time of the day. Had a man on my tour, he came over and went, "Oh my God, Greg, there we are." We stood there ready to shine for 6 hours. And all we could do was mill around, which is a 40s term, meaning you could move like this. Look up the ceiling on the beautiful light fixtures, leaded glass, almost a half an inch thick.
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful. Let's go to the observation bar.
Our favorite spot.
Gin tonic, right?
Oh yeah, I'm having a mojito. Yeah, don't miss the stair. Oh, this is the front. Oh, there's a nice submarine down there.
This is the third class passenger area, the only place third class passengers could come outside and enjoy the sunshine right here. There was no staircase, it couldn't go any further back right here. Here's the ribbons of the shuffleboard courts. And I've been on the ship almost 2 years now, and some guy noticed this yesterday, I never even noticed it. If you look here, I think it's a ring toss court. This here says ladies, and this says gents. You can always see it when the sun shines a certain way on it.
Yeah, the original game board of something.
Notice it? Yeah, I never saw it. Anyway, this is the red area during the war. I had my favorite story. This guy was on the ship in 1944. He said he was a cook in the mess hall in the red area. He said, "Greg, I worked and slaved there for 2.5 days. I needed to get the break, come out here, get some fresh air, and see the sunshine just once." He said he snuck out came up the staircase there and snuck out that door. He said, "Greg, I got in that door and I was amazed at what I saw up here. Hundreds of men standing right here in white life jackets looking toward the bow of the ship." I was so amazed. I slammed that door that exact second. They all turned around and knelt down to me. I said I felt like God. He realized what was going on. They saw a giant wave coming over the bow. It soaked us right to the bone. That was the last time they came up here. It's a great story. Crow's Nest. To get up there, you go 2 decks below, climb inside that tube. 110 rungs of a ladder. 40mm any aircraft heavy machine gun, not original to the ship. They only had single barrels, that's a double barrel. And it wouldn't have been there. They didn't want the gun crew turning around shooting at them in the bridge. That wouldn't have been a good thing. July 1943, her gun crew consisted of 205 men. She had 23 Oberkron cannons that totally circled the upper decks. Let's go down to the third class area. This is third class area 2. That used to be the third class women's beauty parlor, and that was the first third class men's barbershop. During the war, it was the first and second canteen. This is the only ashtray still on the ship, which you can actually see. All the other ones have been covered up. I think they forgot this one. Let's go this way. These were lounges for third class passengers. There's an elevator. Go down the staircase. Hello, folks. They say back in the 30s, this is the cheapest wood you could buy. It's pretty. I don't know about that. It's too beautiful.
Yeah, it's like New York.
The little knobs on the banister. That was to stop the kids from sliding down the banisters in the 30s. That's all. It says it didn't stop. In first class passenger, if you were seasick and looking green, they had peach tinted mirrors. You could look in the mirror and see a nice healthy complexion.
Oh.
Psychologically, like I said, make you feel a little better. Let's go down staircase. That's original flooring down there called Kirkord or Ribolium. It's made out of cork and rubber. It's from the 30s. You can actually see little ladies' footprints, heel prints.
Real little indentations. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was an art gallery down here.
This is actually C deck, but you know they could never seem to find the restaurants. So they said, let's just call it R deck, and they'll always find it with C deck. Come on, the art gallery.
Oh, yeah, there's an art gallery here.
Most of this stuff in here is from first class passenger area. The highest compliment ever paid this ship was made by Sir Winston Churchill when he spoke of the Queen Mary. and her sister ship, the Queen Elizabeth, and the part they both played in the successful outcome of the war. I'm going to read you a little of his beautiful speech he said about these ships when the war ended in 1945. He said, built for the arts of peace and to link the old world with the new, the Queens challenged the fury of Hitlerism to defend the liberties of civilization. Vital decisions depended on their ability continuously to elude the enemy, and without their aid, their final victory must unquestionably have been postponed. To the men who contributed to the success of our operations, the world owes a debt that will not be easy to pay. Incredible group of men, incredible times. Maybe your family in World War II, yours, mine, anybody? A lot of us. Now, during the war, the Queen Mary traveled over 600,000 miles, transported over 800,000 Germany, Italy, and Japan.
Amazing, eh?
Never fired a gun. She never lost a single battle.
God, that goes back.
She was a ship that survived depression.
That's what my dad used to do.
She's around the world bidding on her. Long Beach, she made the highest bid, which sounds like nothing, but only for her scrap metal, so she survived the scrap run. Duncan said she was a floating Taj Mahal, a British ship that carried more Americans than Englishmen. A ship that carried the poorest of the poor, the richest of the rich, a living legend in our times. May our Queen live on forever. That concludes